Hello and welcome back to me moving to different parts of my bedroom until I find a place that I want to film at. There was this video that I filmed the other day that was a fanfiction reading of this fanfiction called Revelry Meowing in the Dark. I filmed it all and then my mic didn't pick it up, so today we're gonna try to actually get it all filmed. It's a really short fanfiction. This is just like class 1A, just doing class 1A things. Oh, there's no ships or anything, it's just them. They have a little thing going on in the middle of the night. That's what we're gonna read today. This is on fanfiction.net. It is about 1,000 words. Anyone on the second floor of Heights Alliance wasn't getting any sleep that night. Midoriya, Tokoyami, Mineta, and Aoyama all sat in their beds listening to the incessant high-pitched meow of a kitten. Every few seconds they heard this sound and it was slowly starting to worry them more and more. Tokoyami especially tried to tell himself that the kitten was fine. The kitten's mother was somewhere and she would come back to quiet the kitten soon and it would be fine. However, after each meow, his worries got worse. He may be a dark creature of the night, but he wasn't heartless. Finally, he made himself get out of bed and shuffled to his door. He pulled it open, squinting at the dim moonlight filtering through the windows of the dorm as he glanced around. He thought he'd be the only one out, but he was surprised to see 4 other people standing at the window and peering down into the lawn before them. Ah, Tokoyami. Has the kitten kept you up too? Aoyama asked. He glanced back at the bird as he talked. Despite it being literally close to midnight, he still had that stupid sparkle in his eye. Yeah, it's worrying me, Tokoyami said as he came to stand beside the others. Midoriya pressed his forehead against the glass to peer down into the bush, while Koda's eyes scanned the lawn for any movement. Mineta just looked pissed off. It's annoying, Mineta muttered. Are you guys gonna go get it? Midoriya, Aoyama, Tokoyami, and Koda looked at each other. Well, Midoriya began, it's technically breaking curfew, but it is a kitten. It sounds kind of lonely, Koda said quietly as he wrung his hands nervously. I think a lonely kitten is a good reason to break curfew, Aoyama quickly decided with a nod. He moved down the hallway towards the staircase. The others quickly looked at each other before Midoriya, Tokoyami, and Koda all moved to follow, while Mineta decided to head back to bed. Does anyone have a flashlight? Tokoyami asked. I have a laser, Aoyama offered as he came to the bottom of the stairs, patting his stomach. I don't think that counts, Tokoyami said. He walked from the staircase to the kitchen and pulled open a small drawer where they kept all the simple utility stuff. He found a small flashlight, clicking it on and shining it around the room to test it. Oh good, we have one, Midoriya said quickly. It sounded like it was on the left side of the building, right? It would have been really useful if Todoroki was awake, just use this like little fire. Yes, left side. It's probably in the bushes by the building, Koda answered. Together they walked out of the door and attempted to be very quiet. They didn't want to wake anyone or set off the alarms, that'd be a trip. They turned the corner of the building and the meowing got much louder. Tokoyami walked alongside the bushes, shining a flashlight around to see if he saw a glimpse of anything odd. He didn't see much, so he as well as the others were forced to find the kitten purely by sound. It led them to the bush by the very back of the building, and he reached out to brush the leaves of the bush aside so he could shine the flashlight he held down at the base. Nestled in the dirt and leaves, he saw something small and totally black. It moved its little head and gave a high-pitched meow that Tokoyami was so happy to hear. That is so cute! Oh, I love cats! He looked up to call for the others. I found it! Everyone rushed over the moment they heard Tokoyami's voice. They all came and crouched down by the bush as Tokoyami held the leaves back. See him? Oh, he's so tiny! Aoyama squeaked. That's literally me. He watched Koda scoop up the kitten into his hands. It did its best to pick up its head, but ultimately its eyes were fused shut and unable to see. All he could do with it was sniff Koda's hand and meow. What should we do with it? Midoriya asked as he watched it sniff around Koda's hand. Well, Koda started. He looked unsure. Sure, he knew a lot about animals, but he didn't know what to do with a newborn kitten. Plus, wouldn't they get in trouble if the teachers knew they had it? Well, we could give it to me. All 4 of them nearly jumped out of their skin as a voice came from behind them. All of their heads snapped up to look at none other than Mr. Aizawa standing over them with crossed arms. Mr. Aizawa! All 4 of them yelped, quickly getting to their feet. Koda stood tallest, holding the kitten to its chest. I'm sorry, Mr. Aizawa, Midoriya said as he bowed his head. We heard something meowing and we just had to come and help. Aizawa held his hands out for the kitten, not saying anything to them until Koda regretfully placed the kitten in his hands. As soon as he did, he pressed it to his own chest and covered it with his hands to try and keep it warm. Do you 4 know what to do with the newborn kitten? He asked. Well, no. They admitted as they glanced around at each other with a little shame. I'll get it inside, warm it up, and feed it, Aizawa said as he turned on his heels to walk through the grass back to the sidewalk so he could take the kitten and the kids to his quarters. So, you know what to do with the newborn kitten? Aoyama asked curiously as all 4 of them moved to follow. Yes, Aizawa answered shortly, and stopped by the entrance of the dorms. None of you are going to get in trouble for breaking curfew, but don't do it again. If you hear another kitten somewhere, tell me. I usually take care of the cats around here. If you tried to take care of this kitten on your own, it would probably die. Wow, way to be like Way to sugarcoat it, Zawa. Go to bed, I'll see you in class tomorrow. Of course, the four of them said as their faces went a little red. They were admittedly a little embarrassed about how this went. They wished Aizawa a good night before turning to walk back to their own rooms. They all four crawled into their beds with the kitten still in their minds. Everyone in class murmured to each other as they stand around the classroom early the next morning. Togoyami, Aoyama, Koda, and Midoriya all seemed a little more tired, but no one had any idea why. Not until Zawa walked in to the room holding a small bundle in his arms and a bag of supplies. Everyone in the room just kinda eyed it wearily until it meowed. And then everyone absolutely lost their did that just meow? Kaminari asked with wide eyes. Are you holding a kitten? Mina shrieked as she got up to her feet, ready to run to the desk to look at it. Aizawa sighed, closing his tired eyes just for a second. Yes, I'm holding a kitten. It was found by the dorms last night and I'll be taking care of it until it's older. Well, how old is it? Ochaku asked, leaning forward at her desk to see if she could get a glimpse at it. Less than a week, so it needs constant care. That's why it's here. Can we keep it when it gets older? Can we please have a dorm cat? Momo asked quietly. Quickly. She asked quickly, not quietly. No cats allowed in the dorms, Zawa reminded them. The class collectively groaned and a few of them sank into their seats. We can't bend the rules like just this once, Sero asked in his best persuasive grin. No, Sero, Zawa sighed. Can we at least name it? Sue spoke up, keeping her eyes on the bundle in his arms. Naming it just means you'll become attached. Zawa reminded him just like the dad he is. But now he was tapping his fingers on the small podium with slight impatience. Yeah, but we're gonna name it anyways, so... Kirishima said. Since it's gonna be here for the next, 7 weeks, Zawa muttered, pinching the bridge of his nose. Fine, we can name it, just do whatever you have to. The entire class cheered and quickly Ida got to his feet with his hands in the air. As class president, I suggest that we vote. If you have a suggestion, please write it down on the board and we will vote. He's very, very adamant on voting. The entire class nodded, immediately muttering their suggestions as quite a few swarmed the board to write down their suggestions. Ida led them in the vote, and soon Zawa was standing there looking at the list of the worst possible names for a cat he'd ever seen. There's Licorice, Lord Explosion Murder, Hands, McMike, and finally, the name that somehow was a winner, Revelry in the Dark. Revelry for short, or Rev for shorter. Zawa blinked and he looked at the class. Guys, we cannot name a kitten Revelry in the Dark. Hey, that's the name that won, Kirishima said quickly. So Rev it is. Zawa took a moment to close his eyes before he sighed. Fine. Revelry in the Dark it is, he said as he stood and moved to the board. Now, we need to get to work. The entire class groaned and moved back to their seats to begin class, although the entire time they had their eyes on a small, occasionally meowing bundle that they'd grown so attached to. That was so cute. I'm gonna read another short one later. I'm gonna read you a little Bakudeku one-shot. It is roughly 500 words. It's called Stargazing by a creator I cannot pronounce. It is on Archive of Our Own. The summary is they don't get to spend much time together, so they make the most out of it. I love stargazing, hence the stars in the back of me. It was one of those silent nights where they would sit on their balcony and just gaze at the stars, a hot cup of tea in their hands. They haven't seen each other in the past few days due to their hero work being more hectic than usual with the sudden rise of villainous activity in the city. It happened every once in a while, but the loneliness that came along with coming home to an empty house and waking up in a cold bed was not something you could get used to. However, they'd always known that these lonely days and nights would fill their relationship, and accepted it the day they finally confessed their feelings to each other. Saving people and fighting evil had been their lifelong goal, a part of their identity that they would never be able to compromise no matter what. Even though they constantly put their lives on the line and knew they could die the next day and leave the other with nothing but memories of these intimate moments. Sorry, we can't unpack all of that. But memories of these intimate moments together where they would finally be able to find some peace. They would stop at nothing to protect others. Katsuki's eyes finally left the sky to land on Izuku. He put down his empty cup on the small, low table furnishing their balcony before surrounding the other male with his arms from behind and nuzzling in his neck. That is so cute. Just girly things. That's so romantic. It doesn't take long before Izuku puts his hand, not holding the cup, over the other's arms and slowly turning his face to give him a fond look. Oh. Katsuki finally left his neck to raise his head and press their foreheads together while closing his eyes. They stayed like that for a while in silence. Ka-chan, you're really cute. That's so cute. Why am I gonna cry? Ka-chan, you're really cute, Izuku chuckled. Katsuki grunted. Look who's stuck. Wow. This is amazing. Katsuki grunted. Look who's talking. Little kitty. He mumbled before moving his head back and bringing up both hands to pinch Izuku's cheeks with a grin. You're the cute one here. I'm a sex symbol. Izuku laughed as he turned his face to the blonde. Is that so? Katsuki hummed a response and pecked the other man's forehead. Izuku threw an arm around his neck and gave him a short kiss on the lips, then looked at him with a mischievous grin. Then show me. Oh wow. Oh wow. Things are getting spicy. Then quickly went back inside their house, and both of them put their cups in the sink and ran to their bedroom while giggling all the while. They knew that's just so cute. They knew they did not get many opportunities to spend time together, but they always made sure to make the most out of them. It was so romantic. That was so cute! I hope you guys enjoyed your little bedtime story. Remember to come back for more. Comment down below which one you want to see next, or go on my last video that I posted and comment what you guys want to see next, what you want me to read next, and I will read it. Remember to follow me on all my socials, Insta, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, and I think that's about it. Remember to drink water, do your homework, and I love you so much. Have a good day. Bye. Zawa took a moment to close his eyes.
If this really happened in real life, Zawa would expect the shit out of it. He'd be like, the name is Eraserface! He'd be like, we're not naming it. Call midnight.
Its name is Obero.
Oh, stop. Don't
Cries in manga reader. Tokoyami kneeled and reached out to the bush. The leaves of the bush. Ah, I can't read. Reached out to brush the leaves of the bush aside. There's just so many bees.